Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very last webinar of the European Educational Leadership Week. After one whole week of webinars, we are finally in our last session. And this is a webinar organized by the European Parents Association. So now I'm going to give the word over to Aria to kick off this webinar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Valentina. It has been a very exciting week with 30 webinars altogether that I have not been able to attend all of them, but quite a number. And I must say it was very, very interesting. And I think what we do in this webinar, and I think that's why it's so great that it comes at the end of this series, is that we really concentrate on bringing all the stakeholders together, because this is exactly what this project that we are going to present to you in a minute has done. You have seen from the title, it's called Empowering of Schoolboards. And who do you have in school boards? Usually you have the principal, the teachers, or at least teacher representatives. You have parents representatives, and in some countries you also have student representatives. So all the main stakeholders in a school community are part of a school board. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what we have done here, and I hope that Ivar is now here and he can share the Mentimeter with us. Yes, so when you hear the expression collegial leadership, what comes to your mind first? I can see cooperation, I can see together. I will stop sharing my screen. Open communication, sharing, empowerment. Yes. Yes. Balanced. People involved with the same goal. Yes. Shared responsibility, inclusion, compromises. Absolutely. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you. All right, then let's try to present to you a little bit the project that we have been in. Empowering of Schoolboards was an Erasmus Plus project from 2019 to 2023 almost. Due to the pandemic, it took a little longer than originally foreseen. And it was based upon a project or an initiative, more or less, by the Estonian Parents Association that had started to support school boards in their country. They had visited a big number of schools and had noticed that leaders felt very lonely, parents did not really feel heard. And so they decided that they needed to do something to support those school boards, and then decided that they would go for a project to make this a more sustainable initiative. And in December 2017, they had a first meeting with the municipal government on Saaremaa. Now, all the Estonian colleagues here, of course, are very well familiar with Saaremaa. For all our international participants, this is an island in what in Estonian is called the Western Sea. For most of us, it is more familiar under the name of Baltic or Eastern Sea. In January 2018, they had a first meeting with all the local project partners that were schools, principals, the municipality, parents, and so on. And in March 2018, they did a questionnaire in cooperation with the University of Tartu. University of Tartu is a university in Estonia. And in December 2018, they started with an international educational seminar, School Board as an Environment for the Development of Active Citizenship, or an active citizen. And on this basis, they then created the Erasmus Plus project from 2019 to 2022, and it took place on the island of Saaremaa. It involved 5 schools, more than 1,000 families, and 15 consultants. consultants, we'll speak about that a little bit later, that were then serving as multipliers of what they had learned. The principle was, the principal idea behind it was that the school is the heart of the community. It's a place for lifelong learning, not only for school children, but for all generations. And that shared leadership enables the inclusion of all the people involved that are being trained to do so. Yeah? So it's not about the inclusion of everybody just grabbing people from the street, but to really train people and then make people work together. Learning and practicing democracy begins at school. I think we can all agree on that. What we do not learn in the family and at school, will that later not happen in society. The partners, as you can see here, were only 4. One was the Estonian Parents Association, one was EPA, so the European Parents Association, Trigon, a company specialized in counseling and development, and the University of Jyväskylä. And thankfully, Mika is here and will tell you a little more afterwards about what the research part of that project was. Here you can see how people were working together in mixed groups. So we had school principal, we had teachers, we had parents, and it was a real collaborative work and learning. And the first module was about elementary social skills, the basic concepts of development, especially of school development, education and school quality, and the process of diagnosis. So things like a SWOT analysis, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats to what we're trying to develop. Yeah, here is a picture from the whole group with some of the international participants as well. You can see Bostian here in the back, who will talk a little bit later also about his experiences. Here in front you have Valérie Gardet, who is a member of the board of the European Parents Association, and many others that you might recognize. The second model dealt with mindfulness, especially in the context of the school community, about contacting and contracting. It also dealt with the topic of leadership, design thinking, the process of future design, how to design workshops, how to design collaborative learning, and what the role of a consultant would be. And you can see here, my goodness, how we were trying to build trust. Yeah? You can see here the passing of balls, the relying on each other. So there were lots of exercises that made these kind of things possible. The third module was about team development, the process of psychosocial change to be more resistant to stress. We all know that there are more and less stressful times. So how to build resilience, the process of learning, the process of information and implementation. Yeah, very often you develop great things, but then it gets all stuck at the moment of implementation. How things can be really brought to the ground and implemented and taken further, about structures and processes as well. So here you can see how COVID hit us, that all of a sudden the international participants could not be on the ground any longer. So our Estonian colleagues were gathered in the room that was very familiar to us from the previous modules. But Mika, for example, here, but also our trainers, Harald and Katrin had to come
Anja.
in. Anja, sorry. Anja had to come in online. Mm-hmm. So the fourth module was about leading and managing change, about conflict resolution, the dynamic of conflicts, the 9 stages of escalation, possible interventions, and also the requirements, the profile requirements for consultants. As you had seen at the beginning, we were training 15 consultants altogether. So also what profile people needed to develop in order to be able to do this. Here you can see what people brought in. In this case here, in a kind of Miro board with these little stickers, how to work with adults, positive impulses, the results on development in the schools, and so on. So everybody brought in their comments, their ideas, their conclusions also about the different trainings. So these were the intellectual outputs that were demanded or that were promised in the framework of the project: a research tool to assess the development of school management, the program to train the consultants to support the schools. You have seen a few examples of how this happened. Then there was a one-day seminar for the whole school community that was done in the different schools that were part of the project still at the end. We did not have all the 5 schools going through with the program until the final point. And then there was a 3-day seminar for elected school board members. So that they were actually our latest optimal target group, the members of the school board. Then there were another 4 modules, as you can see, from March 2022 to November 22 as well. And they were dedicated more to, as Ivor put it here, to the science in the project. And the important findings in these last 4 models were that the approach needs to be based on self-awareness of the system, but also, of course, of the people who are part of the system. The focus only on the self-dependency, the consciously building of trust, the abstaining from assessment, I would rather say maybe from judgment, because we needed to assess also results afterwards, and the fact that there will always be conflicts, but that conflicts are also a challenge that needs to be solved, and not, as my grandfather used to say, there are problems only in math, everything else is a challenge, and should be overcome. So the way on how you work on solutions, yeah? And of course the shared experience of success, which is very important to bring teams also further. Yeah, that was one of the final pictures of this team that had formed all along. And this will be continued. As you can see, the gentleman here, I always said this was wonderfully gender balanced. So we'll work on that for next time. Signing a memorandum of understanding to continue the process, and actually our Slovene colleague Boštjan, whom you have here on the very right of the picture, will tell you a little bit about how the colleagues in Slovenia plan to take things further. I will pass the floor now on to 2 of our participants and ask for their impressions in this project. maybe I can start with Maris. Maris Rebel was one of our parents trained as a multiplier. If you have seen my postings from yesterday, then you know that Maris is a parent of 7 children. And you have seen on the picture that in the last sessions, she was with her youngest. That's why Mika at the beginning also asked about Leopold. And maybe you can tell us a little about how you experienced the whole process and how it is going on. And then I would give the floor afterwards to Christy. Please, Maris.
Hi, good evening for everybody. I'm from Saaremaa, calling here, and I will give you a small review about what happened in our school during this project. At the very beginning, I was not thinking to participate at all because our school is really big with 1,000 pupils, and it takes time to turn ship like that big. And but as the school leader and the school board gave me the trust, then I was on board. And now I'm super glad we decided to join because I have personally got so much, and I believe that our school is also the winner. The training was attended by me from the school board and the head of education representing the headmaster, one of the leading teachers from the school. And at the school meetings, I gave a parallel overview what is happening in the project trainings you saw on the slide Arja show. And at one point, it turned out that the head of our school was even more open compared to others. And it seems that we are ahead of others on this project. For example, in our school, the satisfaction survey and the selection of the teacher of the year is conducted by the school board already many years before the project. In parallel with the project, our school was also reformed when the high school became the primary school, and then the principal asked the parents to write down our dreams for the new school. And we did it. We formed many working groups and the dreams were written down in a couple of months. I would say that our community was booming, or we felt that we are doing something. It was supported by the project, because personally I did get some kind of encouragement and I could practically use this kind of information. I needed it. In parallel with the training, the school board gathered strength, grew trust, and also received public attention. I believe that my cooperation with Christy was also one of the key, that our cooperation has been successful, I would say. We really wanted to contribute to our school life, and involvement the parents, or the commitment of parents became our heart thing. And confidence and experiences grew during this years, I would say, enormously. And with the support of project, we received several trainings for the school parents. First, we did, you saw on the slide also one experiment meeting, and from this it came out the 3 long Sundays trainings for whole school community. And the topics was creating and maintaining relationship, for example, human and organizational development, conflict as an opportunity, designing a development plan of curriculum, creating house rules, and really practical things also. The people there were really interested because it was practical for them. And suddenly we found that we were being contacted both in the school and also from neighbor schools. They somehow saw us. Other school boards investigated how we do certain things. We have inspired and advised many after that. And in the last 2 years of the project, a mentor group was created for the school board, and it gave us the practical help in solving practical legal issues too. It's good for the parents if the wise ones can explain the background or bigger pictures, and also legislation, for example, is difficult for us. And through this, we were taken, I believe, more seriously. And with the support of mentors, we made our school board smaller and more flexible and quicker for decision process. And we added parent council. And also we have now the new work order, both of them. And it was built together with the mentor group. Also, the good thing was that we were yes, we put all we did on the school newspaper and social media, and I believe that that's why we were noticed from outside too. We used the local news for us to spread information what we have done and how it goes. Not only the school news, but also the local. And recently our school got a new leader, and now we have also a new school board, to which Christy and I not longer applied, because Christy is a teacher now, and I have done 7 years of voluntary work, and I had courage to give it for the trust to give it for new people. And the new leader of school board is a smart and a practical man, also stands out at the meetings, and the new members of the school board and the parent council members, they will communicate with me and Christy, and Christy is also belonging to new parents council today, and she can talk about this more detail. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maris. And I'm so happy. Can I say that I'm so excited that the little seeds that we planted, so quite a number of years ago, actually, if you think 2019, that's now 5 years ago. And obviously the Estonian parents had been working on this even a lot before. So how the little seeds started to develop little plants, and I can see them now growing into big trees. Having branches and continuing in other schools, and also I think it's very satisfactory. I know that from myself. If you have done something and you can then pass it on to somebody else with the confidence and the calmness to know that it won't be lost, it won't disappear, but somebody else will take it further. I think this is absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much for your testimony. And I would pass it on now to Christy, who has already been mentioned by Maris. And please, the floor is yours.
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much to Maris for the introduction and also the discussion. Firstly, I'm very grateful I got the opportunity to be the part in this project. I found it to be really beneficial for me personally, and I know I will able to use this knowledge in the kindergarten's board of trustees, of which I'm also the chairperson. And I'm pleased that the training of board members led to the formation of the Parents' Council, which is now also used by the Board of Trustees also. And now I will give a brief overview of what the Parents' Council is. The Parents' Council includes one parent representative from each class whose meetings take place in stage. This means that in our school with its 9 grades, there are three stages in total. The first stage, which includes representatives of parents from first to third grade. Then the second stage, which includes parents from 4th to 6th grade, and the last stage, which includes parents from 7th to 9th grade. And in each stage, parents choose a representative among themselves, who then belongs to the board of trustees and represents the states where they were chosen to represent. The election to the board of trustees occurs through 2 rounds of voting. That makes the Parents' Council meets at least twice a year, and more often if it's necessary. The Parents' Council is the first step where parents can bring up their concerns or other issues. For example, lunch breaks for the first age group have been discussed. However, this is not a problem in the older age groups, so resolving this issue should be in the first stage. By solving in the correct stage, the Board of Trustees can focus on the more important topics that concern the management level. If there are school-wide issues that need to be discussed in the Board of Trustees, then the parent representative from the Parents' Council will take it forward to the Board of Trustees. In my opinion, the Parents' Council acts like a sieve, filtering topics. And this is also saves time for the Board of Trustees, because most problems are resolved in the Parents' Council. Furthermore, the Parents' Council filters people, and more informed parents reach the management level. This is also makes management quality in schools more effective. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christy, for these additional information about how things have developed ever since this initiative took place. And I would like to now invite Cure Lotus, to give his view on the project and on the results that he has noticed, or that have been noticed also on a higher level. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arja. I will share my slides. Yeah, hello, my name is Cure Lotus, and I try to give another viewpoint. My background is an executive coach and leadership trainer, so I have participated in this project, and it has been very interesting to look how our school are led and how does it work, and what are the shortcomings actually also. Just to quick in one sentence, what was the aim for us? To create programs that bring necessary skills to the school board and develop collegial leadership, as we have spoken. And basically, we are searching the best ways to achieve that. And for the background in Estonia, how it works, the parties who are involved in schools are the school owner, mostly they are local government. Then the operational management, who are principal, head teacher, administrators, and families, of course, parents and students. So those are the parties, or this is the triangle who has to lead the school. And the local government since they own the schools, it's most important that they are open for this kind of changes. And luckily, we had this kind of opportunity to do that in Saaremaa. They were very open and even gave us green light that said that they are ready even make changes in jurisdictional level if necessary. Luckily, we didn't have this need, but they even had 2 trainings. So they were very well involved in this project. The school management, we had the 5 schools at the beginning, which were in very different sizes, and they had different challenges. Because of that, we had primary school, basic school, and gymnasiums. And one thing which is very important, I think, to understand that our principals have the highest responsibility level in Europe. They have quite a lot of freedom to choose how they lead the schools, but through that also they have the responsibility. If at the end it's all their responsibility if the owner says that they are not happy what is going on in the school. So this is an extra challenge. But what was also good was that they also, a lot of principals were participating and the teachers from the schools. So we had a great opportunity to work with them also. And the families, basically the parents and students. About Parents Council, Maris and Kristi both have spoken a little bit, but what was for me as a leadership consultant was a great experience was the student councils. If the students had the possibility to say out loud how they see leading the school and what are the thoughts, and if they had this opportunity and they had the voice, then they came great ideas. So I would say even that more students in school boards will make a great effect. We had some challenges also. First of all, there was local government elections. Some leaders were changed in this process, but luckily the new political leaders also were very supportive for this program. We had COVID restriction, and actually the Saaremaa was the first place where in Estonia this virus was found, and it spread quite quickly there. So there was a year where we basically couldn't travel. Not a year, actually, it was the winter, half a year, where we couldn't travel even to Saaremaa in Estonia. So it was quite a challenge. We had 2 reforms. 2 gymnasiums were turned to basic schools. And one school, actually, it was a great deal of identity crisis. Actually, they weren't sure what will be the future. One school had a new headmaster, a principal, and Saaremaa is a small place. English skills were also a challenge for us. What was the outcome from leadership perspective? We developed training programs for schools. We have established the Institute of Leadership Culture. Excuse me, here is written a little bit wrong, which was established from those consultants who participated in the program. We worked out a scientific approach to support the development of the education institutions. We could make prerequisites for scaling the program if necessary, and we signed a memorandum of understanding for cooperations with different organizations from different countries, and hopefully Bosnian will speak about that. I understand that in 2025 the process will continue in Slovenia. And key findings, I would say there was more of them, but for me, I would say that first of all, lucky, as Kristi also said, that there was established more parent councils, and also in other schools this started to happen, which is very great outcome, because actually we understood that we have to prepare the parents before they enter the school board, and parent councils are the best place to do that, because there are more involvement usually if the parents are in parent councils. And of course, if we want to have some change and share the responsibility, the more trust has to be built up because as I said, the responsibility is today on principals, and the principals have to believe that if they share the responsibility, it is trustworthy held. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kjur. That was very interesting, especially I think your key findings and mentioning that the parents' councils are a great way to be prepared for entering the school board. I think it's a lot about preparation. Also in the initiative, that was the idea behind it, not to sort of throw people into cold water and then see whether they can swim or whether they drown, but to really give them the preparation that they need in order to make this a success, not only in their own interest, but especially in the interest of all the students and the school community at large. I would now invite Mika Risku from the University of Jyväskylä, who has kindly accompanied this process from the research perspective.
Thank you, Arja, and good evening to everyone. And yes, our role was to support with the research. There were 5 modules altogether. The 5th one was on research, and in fact, we were to start with that one. Still remember that the request was to have research tools to implement. And we said that we cannot really do it like that. And then there was Trigon, who said, you cannot really go to the schools until we've educated you with coaching. So we reversed the whole order there. And in a way, our role was rather to follow the process first, and then to see what the research could be there when we really started to work with the research in the schools. The method that we came up with was participatory action research, which meant that we were not having single interventions, but rather interested in the process. And it was about, in the starting level analysis, finding out about issues purposeful for the schools, and then trying to solve them. And participatory action research, exactly as Maris, Kristi, Kjur were explaining, our people were part of the schools. And to me, it's still amazing that the schools allowed parents to come into schools so strongly to both research and coach. I worked as a secondary education principal myself, 1993 to 2008, and I can feel the pressures there. Okay, they are now coming and analyzing everything, but that's the trust that we created, and that was the number one thing at the beginning, to create the trust with the schools. December 22, we had a survey to the almost 50 participants in the Empowering of Schoolboards project. That would be the European Parental Association, the other national parental associations, the school board members, and all that we had there. We had 2 research questions. Was our project able to empower school boards? And the other one, how did the school teams experience the project? And I will try to give the research findings for these 2 research questions as follows, and they are beautifully in line with what, for example, Maris and Kristi and Kjur and Arja have been already saying. The school level, yes, there were already some structures, but we could systemize the structures, the processes, the practice for collaboration in the schools. What I still think, and based on our study, what was the most fundamental thing, though, was the mindset. The schools were not always that willing to, for example, do this collaboration. But exactly as Maris beautifully described, this changed in the process. The other finding, transparency, openness, and collaboration in leading the schools improved. I said we were reluctant to give standardized research tools to apply because all leadership research says that leadership is very contextual. And that was one of the key findings of our project too. All the schools had their own processes, and our school teams became so beautiful experts that different methods, different tools were used in all the schools and in the various phases of the school development. And as Kiur very explicitly explained, there was the COVID, there was the school merger, and there were a lot of other things too. So the operational environment was very dynamic and complex the whole time. I loved Arja's historical presentation at the beginning. That's something that we also identified already for the school level. It takes time to solve the issues that we find as challenging. It also takes time for the people in the school community to have the collaboration, and that was a challenge the whole time. About the local level, understanding the value of the local level and the local culture improved. I would connect this with ownership, how we see ownership and democracy. As for the local level outcomes, small, meaningful steps is how I would conclude it, in addition to the evolving mindset. The national level takes time, but all schools in Estonia have now been provided with this kind of education one way or another. It means around 10,000 school community members. To me, that's amazing. It's not just small steps. It's a lot. There are rising stars and already existing stars in Estonia and internationally conveying this message forward. And the other European national parental associations are already working to continue with this kind of work. The second research question, school teams became a community. All the people you see here, or the faces you see here, I would hug them if we were in the same room. And I know that I could do it without being afraid of how they react. That's how it is. We became a community. The school coaches' competencies and self-confidence improved. That's also a research finding. The process was in no way perfect. We had conflicts, we had tensions, and we had disagreements during the process. We were not afraid of them, although they were those. We solved them, and we're still a community and friends. There was the feeling amongst the coaches that they did not get ready. And that's something that we should work on further. We must understand that in a dynamic, complex environment, we will never get ready. It's a lifelong process, and more than that, it's a process that just goes on. So to give mercy to oneself, like Maris was saying, I've been doing this now for 7 years, so I do something else. These, to me, would be the most fundamental research findings, some of which, or most of which, you will find in the report, but there were also other things here. Thank you. And nobody wrote anything in the chat, which just means that I was so perfect and explicit and everything that there was nothing to be questioned or commented.
Absolutely, Mika. Thank you so much for this great overview. And you need not be afraid of not having a PowerPoint presentation. I think that was beautifully explained, based on what Maris, Christy, and Kira already told us before. So I think it summed it up very nicely. And we are now getting to our, well, sort of the last part of this webinar. The time has run really fast, and before doing so, we had another research or another question to you. I'm going to put the question just simply in the chat, and maybe you could just answer it there. So what do you think would be the challenges of implementing such a program in your country? So we will not create a word cloud. So wait, oops. So here is the question. You have heard from the different speakers what the challenges were while trying to implement that initiative in Estonia, in Saaremaa, but also then to scale it up to the whole island and later on also to the whole country. So we have, I think, also people from different other countries here. So maybe you could answer this, think about this question a little bit and answer that in the chat. But in the meantime, I would invite our discussants for the last discussion, Thomas, Mika, and Boštjan. I would give the floor first to Thomas, who has also accompanied this process as a school principal, as a member of the board of ESHA as well. And we are curious to listen to your comments and remarks. Please, Thomas.
Thank you very much. Greetings from Tallinn, and I hope that everybody is in good shape and ready for a very short also panel discussion here. What I can say is that what I would like to draw attention to is a couple of things, which most probably are going to say the same things in using other words. I would like to draw attention to 4 aspects, 2 V's and 2 C's, which are very important. And these are values, vision, competencies, and collaboration. I think that without those, you can't do that. A pervasive force is trust, and that is something which you already have heard much of it. Without trust from the parts of government or the country, the trust towards local authorities, or local authorities trusting local communities trusting local school communities, school boards or extended boards, or as it is in the project, the parent councils, etc., going down. Without trust, nothing comes. And the key in putting it all together is the school leader. And what has been said, like Mika said, or the previous examples from Estonia said, so you need to build this trust. So it starts with the individual. The school leader has to have trust. Trust the students, trust the parents, trust the teachers, trust the communities, politicians, and help them build trust back towards the community. And what makes it possible in school is that there is one common feature or common denominator, and that is the student or the child. Both parents local community, teacher, school want the children to develop and have healthy environment. And if both sides or all sides, all parties want it, then this is something which makes it possible. Then you need values, vision, competences, collaboration. You need to develop them. You need to voice them. And like Mika nicely said, if you have it, you open the doors and you let the people in. Otherwise, they would engage lawyers and they would like to break in by using articles from legal documents. Thank you for this short introduction.
Thank you very much. And I really like the 2 V's and the 2 C's. I think they're really very important. And I would like to invite now Boštjan as part of the training group that was in Saaremaa, part of the consultants that has been trained, but also taking this now further in his own country, Slovenia, where we had our wonderful General Assembly and conference in April 2023. Please, Boštjan.
Well, thank you, Arja. But most of all, thank you for this unique experiences that I have been given by this Estonia Parents Association and other partners, and Mika especially, and all other persons and people who were working into this project. And I am very, very proud to see that some of my seats are also there in Estonia now, because I was one of, let's say, the promoters of the parents' councils. So I really, really like the idea that in 2025 we will proceed with this project in Slovenia. We start with Ivar, I think, in this year, finding the common milestones of this new project. And hopefully I will see Mika again helping us with this new project. So if I may, I would like to just show you a quick 2 slides. They are just 2 slides of parents councils, like we are doing in Slovenia. What we are doing as National Parents Association, as ZAS, we really like to empower our parents in these parents councils, because in our primary schools, each class of that school has a parent representative who is being part of the he has his part in the parents board, and they made this parents council. So as you can see, it all starts in the classroom with the classroom representative, and it follows up to the parents councils. We go to the school board, or the other part to the regional parent council, the national parent council, and even to European Parents Association. So we have in our schools, there are 2 parents representatives in parents councils, and one is from the kindergartens. So we are really, really a strong team in the school board. So here you can see that we have a lot of obligations and responsibilities to do in this our small parent councils. First of all, we can give consents to proposals of prices of workbooks and other learning materials, because we decided about the prices, because we have to buy some learning material, we as parents. So we have this right to choose the numbers, let's say. So another consent that we give is to proposal of the above standard school program. This is also about the financing, the things and stuff. We do participate in dealing matters to the parent councils, of course. On the school development proposals, we participate in the school education plan. we also participate in designing the schoolhouse rules. So there's a lot of responsibilities here and a lot of working hours together with the headmaster of the school, especially, and the teachers, of course. Then on the other side, we also given an opinion on the election of candidate for the school principal, because about that our opinion depends if this new headmaster will be elected or not, because as I said before, we have 3 parents representatives in the school board who has this right to vote and choose the new headmaster. So we also give an opinion to our school rules. Annual school working plan has to be approved every year in the beginning of the school year. We also give an opinion on financing summer and winter camps, because they all have to be paid by parents. And we also propose and consider the matters of the school board, the above standard schooling program, the school education plan, and the rules of school meals. So this is like a short introduction and illustration what all kind of things we are managed to and we have to do in our parent schools, those parent councils. And that's why we have this ZAS, National Parents Association, who is working with the seminars, and we are trying to train them how to be responsible and how to use this knowledge and how to compare with the headmaster in the school. So I'm really, really satisfied that something of this is also in Estonian schools now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Boštjan, for this overview on how parental representation and parental work is being done in Slovenia. We have run a little bit over time, so if you don't mind, I would like to ask people from the floor if you have any questions. You can just drop them in the chat or in the Q&A section up there. If there's anything burning, or also for the people who are for the speakers here, if you want to ask somebody else a question, please feel free to do so. We have anything burning coming up? I don't see anything yet. I would like to get back to the answers that you have all given on the question about what you would think the challenges of implementing such a program in your country would be. So there was a lot about cultural differences in the education system, but also in general, administration, also the mentality that might be different, yeah. And also, of course, traditions of what is possible and what is not. But I think one of the answers that has been given by Thomas, but also by others, is this trust building, and to take the time to build this trust before doing anything together. I think that's one of the most important thing, not to kind of overrule any of the groups and say, we have now decided that we are going to do this and that, but to really come together and look at the challenges that are there and to try and find solutions together. As there are no specific questions, at least I can't see anything. I would just, invite you all, if you want to make a final statement. Just unmute your microphone and please have your final words. I'm very happy that we could present this here today. I think it really brings beautifully together, especially after this description that Maris did, brings really beautifully together what the project has been all about, and what actually the Educational Leadership Network is all about, bringing all these people together. So any final remarks? Yes, Thomas, please.
I'd challenge. I would challenge from a point of view of building trust in centralized systems. I definitely say that in decentralized systems where the autonomy of school leaders and communities is high, it is a little bit easier. And in centralized, there are restrictions. So I would say, I don't know what Mika says, but I would challenge this group and then beyond that group to discuss how to build trust in centralized systems.
I pass the question on. I'm not a specialist in centralized systems. Austria is one of the most decentralized systems, which has some issues, but I won't go into the detail here. But please, any experiences, any answers to that question?
I would like to comment on that if it's okay.
Sure.
It's not just decentralization and centralization, it's more complicated, of course, but it appears to be so exactly. I agree with Thomas that you have a centralized system and it's the wise and always men at the top deciding it's like this. And then what they in their wisdom decide is being implemented. And how to create trust in a system like that is very challenging. Can I say another thing?
Sure.
Yeah. The overarching topic for this webinar week has been and still is transforming schools into learning communities. And our week's last webinar is a wonderful ending to this. Wednesday, we had the Research Corners Day. I was thrilled, happy, amazed how unanimous we were about how we see research. The main message, and it was very, very strong, is that it's no longer merely universities researching, but it's people working in school, daycare centers, etc., doing the research. And that has to alter how universities see their role in this research process too. And there too, our Empowering of Schoolboards is a wonderful example. So I'm so happy, Bostian, that Slovenia is continuing in 2025. And you must do it because we've signed a document for that in December 22. So I would never forgive you if you did not do that. I've been waiting to hear about it. So thank you. And I do love teasing people.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you. We have really hit it on the spot with 5:30. So thank you very much to all of you for being here. I totally agree with Mika that this webinar really brought all the idea of the transformation into this transformation of schools into learning communities well together. I hope that we can continue working on this all together. That we have maybe found some new allies here in the audience. And as these webinars will also be published and they have been recorded, so they will also be available through the network's website afterwards. So maybe we will gain some more allies in this way and continue this work, because as Mika so rightly said, yeah, that was only a starting point, and it will continue in Slovenia, but we hope to take it also to other countries, because as you have heard from the testimonies, it's really worth the while, not only for the single persons who have profited a lot from it, but of course also for the systems as such, the school community as a whole, and last but not least, of course, the children that grow up and develop in these systems. So thank you very, very much for spending this Friday afternoon with us. I know it's late, and you might, especially in Estonia and Finland, you're even an hour ahead of us. So thank you very, very much for being with us. I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and thank you to the great team also of the education employers, Sylvia, Valentina and Axel for the technical support, and thank you to everybody for having been with us today. Looking forward to the next webinar week sometime next year. We'll let you know on time, and hopefully that will be as exciting as this one. Thank you so much.